Hello, and welcome to Colden. We are a city country, located in a sort of pocket universe. We strive to give a lot of freedom to our citizens, as we believe this is what makes a utopia a utopia. The name Colden originated from the corporation, Cole, that had first developed a pocket universe and created and built a city within it. At that time, Cole was a science, technology, and business company, but it was starting to struggle as a corporation, so in order to increase sales, they had the brilliant idea of creating a place where they controlled all the sales. This, however, caused the business branch to start getting corrupt, leading to that branch being shut down. This ultimately led to the downfall of the company, but at this point it had created Colden, so coal never really disappeared, at least as a country. Our flag is based off the original coal company logo, along with other things, like how the yellow represents optimism and enlightenment. There is blue because it represents trust and responsibility, which are very important ideals of Colden, and the black represents our strength.
Our choice in government is a republic. A republic gives power to the people on who rules the government. It isn't like a monarchy where people may fight over who may rule or if there be a bad ruler. A republic gives the citizens a voice in who gets to run the government. It's good since if someone is running for a certain position and is bad at that position, people would know. Not many would elect this person for the position. The people who make the laws are the people in the legislative branch. Citizens may also propose a law, but they'd have to pass through the legislative branch. The executive branch enforces these laws, and the judicial branch justifies them. We have other laws, but these are some of the guaranteed laws, or GLs. 1. Don't commit theft. Theft is taking another's possession without consent, or anything in between. It robs a person of their hard work, which is just unjust and unfair. 2. No committing murder. Murder is absolutely wrong, and as you shouldn't kill your own kind just because they might have done something you hadn't liked. This one will have serious consequences. 3. No trespassing of private property. If it's not yours, don't go on it. You don't have the right to go on another one's property. As long as you'd have consent from them, it'd be fine. 4. No speeding. Speeding/going over the speed limit is unsafe and can result in dangerous crashes. There's a reason why they've been set. 5. No littering. As Colden is located in a pocket universe, exporting trash is expensive. To fix it, we deal it with ourselves. Garbage is incinerated at centers and brought to a central plant to get processed even more. This system is like sewage, but for your garbage. Littering messes with this process, and so garbage could slowly pile up in the city, which isn't good for the people or the environment. We also have a constitution, which has many rights like freedom of speech, the right to privacy, and the right to a free market, along with many more. For courts, if someone has committed a crime and put into court, they are innocent until proven guilty. Depending on the severity of the crime, they may have to pay a fine, do community services, or face jail time in the Colden City Jail. In Colden, for local governments, in Colden there is a system of local governments within the city. They control smaller regions in the city, so their laws hold up even better for everyone. The people running these localized governments are more volunteer than government officials, but still do get paid a bit. It is also completely optional to have this kind of government, but anyone can start it as long as a form be submitted to be approved by the KLGA, the Colden Local Governments Association. Local governments may also override existing laws put into place by the Colden Legislative Branch, as long as they're not part of the Constitution or the guaranteed laws. The legislative branch must vote on it with a 3/5 majority vote. Must agree that the said federal law shall be overwritten, which only applies in the specific region. These local governments are run by the people who live in the area, which are usually split up into districts. If a district is too large, it could be split up further. These local governments are run by citizens. How each works is dependent on the people running them. Once again, since they're technically working for Colden, these governments are monitored to prevent any abuse and corruption. If any is detected, old people running will be removed from their position, but there must be a majority vote from the Supreme Court that there is truly corruption. This is to be sure that the federal government does not throw out the local government officials just because of a difference of opinion. Family. No one side of the family rules the other, legally at least. It'd be up to the parents to decide who deals with the children and runs the household. It'd be unfair for the other parent who may want to rule the household too, so having regulations in that sort is found to be unnecessary. Families may have as many children as they choose, but the issue with this is that they'd have to pay more school taxes. The other choice is to bring your child to a private school, but then again, you'd have to fund the school, but still pay a reduced school tax. Parents should have the choice to have as many children as they choose. If they want that many, they're most likely willing to care for that many. There's a limit of 12 persons in each family dwelling, which should be plenty, and it's a set regulation for safety purposes, but a request can be allowed to have more than 12 living within the same home.
Education in Colden is very important. Teachers are regarded among other jobs like lawyers. The education system in Colden is preparing kids for life and less of teaching them unnecessary information. Much of Colden's education system is inspired off of Finland's education system. School runs from Monday to Friday, and each class is 40 minutes long, and it goes from kindergarten to 12th grade. There are a few basic classes everyone will have to take: science, math, English, social studies, along with 2 miscellaneous classes, being recess, a time to do homework, socialize, go outside, meet with a teacher, really anything, and lunch. Students may also choose 3 electives, the third one taking up their recess. These electives are art, technology, business, physical education, facts, and law. These electives also split off into their own separate branches, getting more in depth with the topic. One interesting difference between most education systems and Colden's is that Colden doesn't have homework. If a student knows and understands a concept, what's the point of going over it again? It's a waste of time, so why do it? If a student needs help, or if a teacher suspects they may need it, they may approach them and ask for further instruction and practice until they do so. There are many different types of houses in Colden, though we are only going over 4. All of the housing is created by outside companies and is also sold by outside companies. These houses vary in style, structure, and appearance. Housing is also often copied and pasted within the same area, as it's cheaper to create. If all houses were the same, they wouldn't fit some of the specifications that people would like, so many people opt to just get their house custom built. Another housing option is apartments. Apartments aren't the largest, but most complexes fit the needs of up to around 4 people per apartment. Neighborhoods in apartments could be the building itself, or maybe even the area around the apartment. Now, going back to normal standalone houses, one style is a city residential building. It's repeating and connected to each other. They can fit typically 2 families and have the same general look or idea. They may have different interiors though, depending on who built them, or what the people that bought the house wanted. Their neighborhood is the area encompassing them, typically. The other 2 houses are similar, but they fit more of a suburban style and aren't connected, but they still share a resemblance. These houses usually have 1 family within them, unlike the other one. These houses usually have 1 family within them as opposed to 2, and are larger in comparison with the city house. Neighborhoods with these areas are more or less put together by the people who develop them and can have any wide variety of houses within them. Again, keep in mind that these are just some of the many examples of housing within Colden.
Jobs in Colden are all done by companies. This means it depends on the company on how people are chosen and hired. Colden makes sure that these companies are hiring employees fairly and that there's no discrimination involved. Otherwise, Colden doesn't really get involved in how people are hired. The government governs, not really deals in how people get jobs. As for some important jobs within Colden, one of them are teachers. The official title of teachers are simply teachers. Teachers teach adolescents a topic which would prepare them for life. A type of The type of people chosen for a teacher is usually someone who has gone through college, gotten a degree in teaching, in their subject that they'd want to teach. They should be nice, sociable, and work well with kids. The best of the best would be picked first as they teach kids the best. Again, teachers are recommended to get a teaching degree in a college and then a required separate degree relating with the subject they want to teach. Without teachers, much of the Colden population wouldn't be as educated, and Colden together as a country may not be as a utopia as it is. Medics are another very important job within Colden. These people ensure the population of Colden is healthy and functioning. Medics include doctors, surgeons, nurses, and many others who work within the medical field. The title for medics depends on what kind of medic they are. People chosen to work in the medical field in Colden are people who have completed medical school. They learn almost everything they need to become their specific job. How they're chosen is that they'd apply to work at a specific hospital, which are several in Colden. They'd basically work there for a few days, and higher ups would monitor and see how well they're performing. At the end, it'd be decided who would get employed by the hospital. The people chosen for this job are usually people who can stay calm in stressful environments and be good at communicating, which is important as you want to be clear when you're talking to a patient. The third important job would be law enforcement, or the KPD, the Colden Police Department. They watch and enforce laws, catch criminals, and keep everyone safe in Colden. A title for people who work in the KPD can be simplified to police officers. People who want to become police officers first submit an application to the KPD and must meet their minimum requirements. The best applicants are chosen and continue to be tested to see if they fit all the criteria of being an officer. People who fit all the criteria are then brought to a police training school to learn about what they may encounter and how they may deal with that specific situation. People who want to become officers must be physically fit and have very little or no criminal activity.
The currency system in Colden is the coal mark. Each coal mark is worth about $5 in US money, and transactions are transferred through the digital bank card. Physical money can be easily lost, stolen, and destroyed, especially compared with a bank card, where transactions will be almost instant and never be lost. Banks in Colden serve purposes such as lending money to someone, issuing bank cards, and verifying credentials. There are two major banks within Colden, the Quasar Bank and the Bank of Colden. Money can be transferred using your bank's app on your mobile phone by visiting their website, or in the case of you being at a store, simply putting your card up to the card reader for about 1 second, as it also scans your face simultaneously. Speaking of which, in order to keep transactions secure with your bank card, a deep learning algorithm scans your face with several spectrums of light, visible, UV, and infrared for a second, and checks a safe encrypted database that can only be accessed by the algorithm for the banking system when you need it, so your data is private from the government and other people's eyes. This data holds essentially your verification ID for transactions. The learning algorithm is fed altered versions of the same scan and is trained to recognize your face in an instant with very high security. Since scanners contain UV, infrared, and visible spectrum scanners, trying to create an artificial 3D face with the same visible, infrared, and thermal indicators as your face is quite literally impossible, making it extremely secure. Lost your bank card? No worries. Just visit your local bank and pay a small fee to get a new one and to disable the previous card. It's easy, and the chances of someone else being able to use your card are very minuscule with all the security measures we have in place.
Colden's mass transit system is a train system. It stretches across much of the city. New technology makes these trains highly efficient, so there's very little sound coming from them, and that they're also very high speed. Everyone can really easily use the mass transit. Oftentimes in a large city like Colden, other transit options such as a motor vehicle in the streets can contain traffic, and routes can be confusing. Mass transit is straightforward. Just wait for the next train, get on, and wait for your stop. Golden's train system is cheap too, especially compared to other forms like taxis. Speaking of motor vehicles, almost everyone has at least one, usually a car. In Colden, cars are almost all electric. Electric cars don't require fuel of any kind and don't release any environmentally harmful byproducts. These latest car models from many different companies have specially integrated solar panels within the housing of the car, and they are much more efficient than any car before it. The integrated solar panels, ISP, charges the car while it's being driven so it never really dies. These electric cars are also self-driving, but all street-legal motor vehicles require a license to operate, which is mainly for safety and emergency reasons. Licenses are gained through the KMVA, or the Colden Motor Vehicle Association, with a driving test and a safety quiz. Each electrical car can communicate with each other as they drive, so they can all coordinate when they take a turn at an intersection, so there's less stopping and less time wasted. People are allowed to drive manual cars and can have a non-electrical vehicle, which can be powered on the increasingly rare to find gasoline, or the new iFuel, which we will address later. Since most people use electric cars due to the increased efficiency over gas-powered cars, several of the gas companies either went out of business or changed to electric for more coal marks. Fortunately, for drivers of gas-powered cars, there is the fact that it there is the fact as it cannot communicate with other cars, which can slow down and cause traffic. But we can remedy this by having self-driving cars only on the roads in major areas of the city. But of course, freedom is of utmost importance in Colden, so they're still allowed. Due to our free market policy, all car sales are also completely handled by the private industry. Environment/climate. As Colden is located within a pocket universe, climate is controlled by devices which surround the used area of the city. They simulate real weather, like temperature fluctuations, clouds, rain, snow, and seasons. Everything is toned down, though, so to not have to worry about snow, for example, so heavy enough to cause problems within the city. A standard temperature of the city is around the 70s range, as this range is the most comfortable to humans, which is during the warmer seasons such as the spring and summer. Fall is when temperatures start to drop, and winter is when snow starts, and it's typically around 20 to 30 degrees. This is done in Colden, so it keeps things more natural feeling than have it summer year-round. Seasons also allow for many different and diverse activities for recreation. In Colden, there aren't really any animals naturally occurring, because it's in a pocket universe, so ones capable of living in Colden are brought over from Earth along with pets like cats and dogs.
Colden has made many technological advancements, which are decades ahead of Earth's technology. Technology often can make life easier, and when doing complicated things, a whole lot easier. Technology allows for people to live simpler lives and less stressful lives. Some of our greatest inventions are as follows. The carpet vader, which is an elevator that is essentially a floating carpet. It automatically detects what floor you want to go to using Advanced Neural Detection System, or ANDS. This is important since it saves about 4.34 seconds selecting what button you want to press on a typical elevator and waiting for the door to close. We also have the Radiant Energy Electrical Car System, or REECS, which is a system that electric vehicles use, which is based on solar power and provides the technology needed for self-driving cars. This eliminates the need to charge your electric car, which can take several hours, and allows for faster transportation with its self-driving capabilities. There is a company called Coldazon, which provides 10-minute delivery of goods including food, technology, clothing, along with much more, to the entirety of Colden. Instead of going to all different stores for all your goods, you can simply buy it all online. Coldazon still supports local small businesses by purchasing many of the products from them and then reselling them for your convenience. One final piece of technology that we'll be showing off today is the garbage incineration system. Garbage is brought from garbage trucks into incineration process pits, which use advanced incineration techniques to turn the majority of the garbage into thin air. Literally, it turns it into oxygen. and the remainder of the trash is brought to the incineration scrap removal station, where it is turned into emission-free fuel that is compatible with any gas-reliant car.
The amount of time people may spend on recreation depends on if it fits their schedule. Recreation time is dependent on the person, and regulation in recreation time is sort of silly. This really isn't different from Earth's recreation time system. In Colden, we have many parks and places where people can hang out and socialize. Some of these parks are actually climate controlled. One may always be in winter, another summer. So if someone wants summer but it's currently in winter within Colden, they can head to one of these parks. There are also activities in large public areas like malls. You can go shopping, watch a movie, or just hang out. Citizens may explore the city as Colden is quite a large city, in fact, one of the largest in the world. Citizens can also choose what they do to please themselves. Play games, use the internet, really anything they want to, just as long as they have the time. Colden may be the city of your dreams, as we believe freedom is of utmost importance. So what are you waiting for? Come join our community.